Hi and welcome back to yet another video. This is the 5th episode of the story about the time when Naruto was trained by 3rd Uzukage when he activated a Kekkei Genkai that allowed him to control blue flames. After you've finished watching, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started.
The birds were chirping in the cool morning air. Naruto was walking through the leaf village, a polystyrene cup in his hand. Steam rose from the cup and twisted elegantly in the air. His coat was slung over his shoulder, his tanto threw over the other shoulder. He was late for meeting with his team at the academy gates. He took another sip of his coffee and sighed as he walked past an upside-down piece of fence. "Stop following me, brat, I don't have time for you today," said Naruto. He had gained a fan in the form of Konohamaru Sarutobi. Konohamaru had stalked him all day yesterday. He had tried doing Naruto's signature speed dash only to jump into the multitude of things lying around. The boy was sporting a bruised face and scratched helmet. "Where are you going, boss?" asked Konohamaru in excitement as he dropped the mirage. Naruto rolled his eyes. "If you must know, I am on my way to the academy to begin the Chunin exam," said Naruto calmly. He smirked as Konohamaru tried to school his expression into a calm one. "Really? Then good luck," said Konohamaru in a blatant fake calm, his eyes twinkling in excitement. His face was threatening to break into a massive grin. "See you later, Konohamaru," said Naruto. He was about to walk forward when he felt a killing intent focused on him. Konohamaru was shaking slightly, a killing pressure had leveled the empty street. "Boss," whispered Konohamaru in fear. Naruto looked at him coolly. "Isn't it a bit early for you to be out, Konohamaru?" said Naruto. Konohamaru nodded and turned and ran. He glanced over his shoulder. On the roof of one of the buildings, a redhead stood with a gourd on his back. He wore a combination of black and fishnet, along with a white sash. Konohamaru watched as Naruto crouched, his hand touching the floor. He jumped and in a blur he was gone. Naruto landed gracefully on the roof of the building. "Gaara-san, lovely morning, isn't it?" said Naruto, his eyes cold. Gaara looked at him with an equally cold expression. You are strong," said Gaara. Naruto stood with his hands in his pockets, his coat still slung over his shoulder, his tanto threw over the other shoulder. His coffee discarded in the street. "Perhaps, what is it to you?" said Naruto. Gaara smirked viciously. "Just making sure, I don't want to kill a weakling," said Gaara, his chakra leaking into the air. Naruto felt the Kyuubi stir. "Interesting," said the Kyuubi. Naruto looked at Gaara. "Care to share?" questioned Naruto. The Kyuubi snorted. "Surprises are good for you," said the Kyuubi mockingly. Naruto just rolled his eyes. Gaara looked at Naruto with a menacing stare. "Yes, your blood will do lovely," said Gaara in a hushed tone. Naruto tensed. Gaara blurred and appeared next to Naruto. Naruto stood with a small smile on his calm face. "Fast," said Naruto. Gaara chuckled a menacing chuckle. "I will see you on the battlefield, Uzumaki. I will bathe in your blood," said Gaara before he disappeared, leaving a shimmer of dust in
his wake. Naruto sighed. He chucked his tanto and belt high into the sky. He pulled his coat off of his back and with a graceful twirl, his hand slipped through the sleeves. He flicked his arms, causing the back of the trench coat to billow. He snatched the tanto and belt as it fell behind him. In one motion he clipped the belt in place. His tanto sat comfortably on his lower back. His coat fell down casually, covering his tanto. Naruto pulled out his headband from his pocket. He latched it to his upper arm and tied it tightly, sighing and rubbing a hand through his hair, ruffling it slightly. His horns stood proud. He crouched and touched the floor. He jumped, one knee bent, his other foot just leaving the floor. He blurred and was gone, the air kicking up slightly. Naruto landed in the courtyard of the academy. He landed one foot placed gracefully first. His bent knee straightened and his boot touched the ground softly, his coat billowing behind him. "Such an epic entrance," said Sasuke, a smirk plastered on his face. Sakura chuckled slightly. "Late enough, Naruto?" asked Sakura. Naruto sighed. "Sorry, got lost on the..." Naruto started but was cut off by Sasuke. "Finish that and I will rip your throat out," said Sasuke with a glare. Naruto sighed once more. "I had to deal with Konohamaru and a murderous Sannin," said Naruto, as he moved past Sasuke and Sakura. "God, was he following you again this morning?" said Sakura, a sigh on her lips. "Yeah, I swear that boy gets up earlier than I do," said Naruto. Sasuke chuckled briefly and Sakura gave a small smile. "So are you going to train him?" asked Sakura. Naruto heaved a sigh. "Probably show him a thing or two, but he keeps trying to do my speed move," said Naruto. Sasuke raised an eyebrow. "The one where you have to touch the ground?" asked Sasuke. Naruto nodded. He motioned for his teammates to move through the door. "Yeah, but the poor little brat doesn't realize he has the wrong blood for that move," said Naruto. Sasuke nodded seriously. He too had tried to replicate Naruto's speed dash, only to fall flat on his face. Naruto was in hysterics, saying he used his blue fire. Sakura sighed. So what's the game plan? She asked softly. Naruto looked at Sasuke. We help our own village, everyone else is expendable, said Sasuke. Naruto nodded slightly. But remember, in this, everyone is competition, show Konoha nin mercy, but still, we must win, Naruto said calmly into the quiet hallway. As they moved up another flight of stairs, Sasuke frowned and Sakura looked at the classroom door on the next floor as it became visible. Genjutsu, she whispered to her team. I would say leave it, but there are a few Konoha nins there, said Naruto. Sasuke grunted and motioned for Sakura and Naruto. Please just let us through, said a girl pleadingly. She had short brown hair pulled into two buns. Her t-shirt was pink and sleeveless. She also wore green pants and blue shinobi sandals. Please, you all look weak. These exams are only for the strong. Just walk away, little girl, said one of the boys blocking the door. He had black spiky hair and 3 bandages on his face. That's not fair. We have already waited a year, said the girl. Naruto sighed and crossed his arms and leaned against the wall as Sasuke and Sakura both took a step forward. A boy with pale eyes and long brown hair looked at Naruto with a glare. Release the genjutsu, said Sasuke. Sakura crossed her arms and glared at the two boys. What genjutsu was being murmured around the people gathered? Sasuke smiled a superior smirk and Naruto just blew some of his hair out of his eyes, his face blank of any expression. Sakura, tell them, you spotted it first, said Sasuke. Sakura smiled slightly. We're only on the 2nd floor, yet the number on the top of the door says 3-1, said Sakura. The two kids blocking the door glared slightly. You have just told all the weak ones the trick. This was to weed out the weak, said the other boy. He had a bandana covering his entire head, hair poked down the middle of his head and 2 long bangs at the side. Just drop the genjutsu, said Sasuke. The boy raised a ram seal and the door marker morphed, revealing the true number. So you spotted the genjutsu, but these tests can kill ya, said the bandaged boy. He threw a heavy kick to Sasuke. Sasuke made a move to kick as well, when suddenly 2 strong hands were holding him still. Fast indeed, and physically strong. Naruto thought to himself, the brown-haired boy tissed. I thought we were not going to reveal or draw too much attention to ourselves, said the brown-haired boy, stood in between Sasuke and the boy blocking the door was a boy dressed in a full green bodysuit. He was wearing orange leg warmers, his arms were bandaged to the elbow. His headband was being used as a belt. His hair was a slick black, and cut into a bowl style. I am sorry, Neji, said the boy. Neji just scowled and threw a glare at Naruto. Let's just go, Ten, Lee, said Neji. He threw a final glare at Naruto before turning with a swift twirl. Lee looked at Sakura. Naruto snickered, his face still calm and blank, as hearts practically appeared in Lee's eyes. You must be the beautiful Sakura-chan, said Lee. Sakura blushed slightly but otherwise ignored Lee. And what if I am, she said simply. Lee stood and striking a pose, his thumb out and a smile on his face. He looked at Sakura with passion flickering in his eyes. Then please allow me to be your boyfriend. I will protect you with my life and will allow no harm to befall you, said Lee. Sakura sighed slightly, tightening the messy bun on her head. Sorry, Lee, but I cannot accept, said Sakura politely. Lee got fake tears and looked at Sakura pleadingly. Is it because I have a rival for your heart? Please tell me who it is. I can challenge them for my Sakura-chan's heart, said Lee. Sasuke just snorted and Naruto shook his head. Lee, let's just go, said Tenten. She began pulling Lee away when Lee's eyes suddenly met Sasuke's. You're Sasuke Uchiha, aren't you, said Lee. Neji turned around and looked at Sasuke with a glare. And so what if I am, said Sasuke. Naruto saw the fire in Lee's eyes. Now, as lovely as this is, I do believe we have an exam to attend, said Naruto, stepping in the middle of the other team and his own team. His cool and calm gaze passed over Neji, Lee, and Tenten. Who are you, red-haired Sen, asked Lee. Naruto just looked at the other team with a bored expression. It doesn't matter who I am, let's just get to the exam, said Naruto. Lee frowned and gave Sasuke a meaningful look. Sasuke just snorted. Lee, let's leave these babies to the exam, said Neji, sneering at Team 7. Sakura just blanked her face and tightened her gloves. Sasuke ignored him in favor of looking at the door they were stood in front of. Naruto was simply looking bored. Sure, whatever. Let's go, guys, said Naruto calmly. They moved through Neji's team and began walking towards the next set of stairs. What is your name? Redhead asked Neji. Naruto turned his head slightly and gave a shrug. None of your business, said Naruto simply as he walked up the stairs. Naruto sighed as Team 7 walked through the large hall before the third-year assembly hall. Classrooms could be seen at the end of the large square hall. Wait, called a familiar voice. Team 7 stopped. Naruto rolled his eyes, a growl rumbled in his chest. Sasuke and Sakura looked at him with wide eyes. Sorry, mumbled Naruto. His calm face looked towards Lee running towards them. His green jumpsuit and orange leg warmers stood out in the dim hallways. "Sasuke Uchiha, I wish to challenge you to a fight," said Lee. Naruto just groaned slightly and Sakura, overhearing him, giggled slightly. Sasuke smirked and stepped forward. "You honestly think you can beat me?" said Sasuke. Lee flushed slightly, his eyes glowing with fire burning deep. "I am the highest scoring Jonin of my year. I wish to test myself against another Rookie of the Year," said Lee. Naruto turned and simply leant against the pillar that was holding the roof up. Sakura watched as Sasuke smirked slightly. "Good, I have been eagerly waiting to use this in a real fight," said Sasuke, his eyes morphing into the Sharingan. Sakura just shook her head and moved to stand next to Naruto, her arms crossed. "Sasuke-kun, make it quick, we don't have all day," said Sakura. Naruto just watched the fight with a calm face. Sasuke dropped into the Uchiha stance. Lee stood with one hand behind his back, the other out towards Sasuke. "Come," said Sasuke. He blinked in shock. Lee had disappeared and landed a couple of punches on him. Sasuke spun his body, a kick flying beneath his body. He landed on 2 feet and flipped backwards onto his hands. Lee followed him, sending constant punches. Sasuke landed on his feet. His Sharingan whirled. 1 tomoe was in his left eye, and in his right was 2 tomos. He dodged his head to the side as Lee sent a forceful punch. Sasuke spun around, moving backwards. He ducked his head low, a kick flying over him. "I can do nothing but defend. I am an Uchiha," yelled Sasuke angrily in his mind. He instantly grabbed the fist as it flew at him. He winced inwardly as Lee's strong fist hit his palm. He spun, twisting Lee's arm. He tugged on the arm and Lee fell to his knees. Sasuke twisted the hand slightly and kicked Lee in the face. Lee bent backwards from the force, wincing as his arm was jarred, his joint aching in protest. Sasuke flicked his body around Lee, not releasing his arm. Sasuke's hand found its way into Lee's hair, and with a harsh tug he slammed Lee's head into the ground. Sasuke stood over the dazed Lee, rubbing a forming bruise on his cheek. Lee spun his legs around, his body spinning. Sasuke jumped backwards as Lee spun onto his hands, his legs outwards spinning in a circle. Lee backward flipped onto his feet, his body moving easily into his fighting stance. "That was a sneaky tactic, Uchiha-san. I didn't peg you for the grappling kind," said Lee. Naruto looked at Sasuke sharply, watching the anger roll across his face. Sasuke charged forward, changing from defense to attack. Lee dodged each of Sasuke's shots easily. Lee sent a series of punches at Sasuke. Sasuke felt the rock-hard punches hit him hard. His strength is not as strong as Naruto's, but he feels more fluent. His attacks are more precise, Sasuke thought. Lee sent a few more attacks, each hitting Sasuke with precision. Sasuke tried to fight back vainly. Lee struck Sasuke hard. Sasuke bent backwards slightly, and felt a foot force him into the air. Lee appeared beneath him, both flying through the air. Sakura watched as Naruto rubbed a hand through his hair and hissed. "Enough," said Naruto loudly. He dropped to the floor swiftly, his hand hitting the floor with a thump. He jumped and blurred. Lee was about to wrap Sasuke up with the bandages on his arm when he felt a fist clench the back of his collar. He chucked slightly, and was forced diagonally to the floor. Sasuke watched as a boot appeared at his waist. He felt a force rocket him down towards the floor. Sakura caught Sasuke as he was thrown towards her. She was wide-eyed at Naruto's grace. She thought Sasuke was a graceful fighter, but in comparison to Naruto, Sasuke was uncoordinated. Naruto was suspended in mid-air briefly. His coat was billowed outwards, his face composed, his arm was outstretched, the other in his pocket. Naruto landed on the ground gracefully. Sasuke stood to his feet in a daze. He took one look at Naruto and glared. Lee stood with a fire in his eyes. He dashed at Naruto, expecting an easy win. Naruto simply caught Lee's arm and held it outwards, Lee falling into him. Lee felt a knee slam into his stomach. Lee doubled over in pain. His arm was released and he fell onto his hands, coughing violently. "Naruto, you dare," started Sasuke, but he was cut off with an icy look from Naruto. "You are both Leaf Ninja, and yet you both so willingly fought each other. Sasuke, you are clearly outmatched because you underestimated your opponent. Lee, you are the dead last of your year, correct? Then why did you pick a fight?" deliberately said Naruto coolly. Naruto heard loud clapping and his eyebrow rose as a Lee copy walked forward. "I couldn't have said it better myself," said the man. He was tall. He wore a green jumpsuit and orange leg warmers. His hair was the same bowl cut, and he wore a Konoha Jonin vest. "And you are," said Naruto coldly, his eyes assessing the situation. "I am here to find my protege, but it seems you have stopped him from me," said Guy. Naruto spun, his coat moving, blowing outward. "Whatever, Sasuke." "Sakura, let's go," said Naruto. He passed Sasuke with his hands in his pockets. Sasuke glared at Naruto. Naruto just leveled him with a cool look. Sakura pushed Sasuke forward slightly, she was shaking her head. Team 7 walked towards the room silently. Sakura was healing the bruises Sasuke had. Naruto just powered forward. "Why did you stop me?" asked Sasuke angrily. Naruto tissed and promptly ignored Sasuke. They got to the classroom and saw Kakashi leaning against the wall. "What was all that racket?" questioned Kakashi innocently. Naruto simply shook his head. "Two hot-headed and irresponsible morons decided to duke it out," said Naruto. Kakashi smirked at Sasuke's indignant face, and Sakura's smirk. "Hot-headed must be Lee-kun." "Sasuke, did you have fun?" questioned Kakashi. Sasuke glared and huffed. "He was beaten. I had to intervene before it got out of hand," said Naruto. Kakashi sighed and nodded. He closed his book and stood tall. "Well, Team 7, beyond this door is every other hopeful Shinon from all over the world. There is no doubt in my mind that you belong in these exams, but don't grow complacent, that is all. Good luck," said Kakashi. He patted each of his students and walked the way Team 7 had just come from. They each looked at the door. "Let's go," said Sasuke confidently. He stood in the center of the team. Naruto stood with his arms crossed, his head bowed, his eyes closed. Sakura tightened her gloves. They were the picture of the perfect team. As the door was thrown open, the room grew silent. It was filled with people of different ages. Some had scars, and others looked battle-worn. Everyone took one look at Team 7 and just ignored them and returned to talking. A few looked at Sasuke with a critical eye. The way he unabashedly wore the Uchiha symbol and his looks, they each wanted to test themselves against the last Uchiha. The few educated ones and many shinobi from Kirigakure spotted Naruto and his red hair. Whispers of his defeating of Zabuza Momochi had spread far. They were possibly more eager than Sasuke's opponents. Naruto simply walked through the doorway with a calm look upon his face. Sasuke was glaring at each person who would dare look at him. Sakura was just sighing lightly every time Sasuke did so. "God, Naruto, you and your team late enough?" asked a tired voice. Naruto turned and looked at Shikamaru and his team walking towards them. "Possibly, we could have been later, but I saved Sasuke the embarrassment of actually losing to a boy with no chakra," said Naruto calmly. Shikamaru raised an eyebrow. "Really, the Uchiha prodigy losing his touch?" questioned Shikamaru. Naruto smirked slightly. "No, overconfident maybe," said Naruto calmly. Shikamaru nodded and took in Naruto's changes. Naruto's face was stony, but calm. His hair was as red as ever, and his clothes hadn't changed. Naruto sighed and Shikamaru felt a killing intent slightly. It was directed at Naruto. He turned to see another red head glaring at Naruto. "Gah, red heads," angry sighed Shikamaru. Naruto snorted. "Too true," said Naruto simply. Shikamaru smiled at Naruto. They both turned to see Sakura fighting off Ino. Sasuke was stood glaring in between them. "Sorry about that," said Shikamaru. Naruto shrugged. "I am not their warden," said Naruto simply. Shikamaru chuckled. "It is you guys. Looks like the rookies are together again," said Kiba's voice boisterously. Naruto turned his head quickly and spotted Hinata smiling at him slightly. Naruto gracefully moved around Shikamaru and walked to Hinata. Sasuke and Sakura both noticed Naruto's stony face soften. It was still calm, but it wasn't as intimidating. "Hey Hinata-chan," said Naruto softly. Hinata smiled at him. "Hi Naruto-kun," said Hinata. Her face flushed. Everyone noted how her face didn't get as red as usual, and she answered Naruto without stuttering. "How are things? I haven't seen you in a couple of days?" questioned Naruto softly. Hinata flushed brighter slightly. I have been busy training." "Sorry Naruto-kun," said Hinata. Naruto smiled slightly, but the small smile lit his stony face. The rest of the rookies promptly looked away, each feeling as if they were unwanted in the conversation. "God, Naruto's changed," murmured Kiba. Sasuke snorted. "You have no idea, dog," said Sasuke. Kiba growled under his breath. "Don't start Uchiha, I could run rings around you," growled Kiba. Sasuke noted how Kiba's growl was different from Naruto's rumble. "Yeah, because you are chasing your own damn tail, moron," smirked Sasuke. Kiba yelled and went to lunge forward when Shino put a restraining hand on his shoulder. "Kiba, relax," said Shino bluntly. Kiba turned to look at Naruto and Hinata talking. Naruto's face was blank except for the small smile tugging at his lips and the glittering in his eyes. Hinata was a lot less red-faced and was smiling also. "When did they get so close?" said Kiba. He heard Sasuke snort once more and felt his eyes shrink into a scowl. He turned back to glare at Sasuke. "Don't look at me like that, they are always together," said Sasuke. He scowled as Ino and Sakura fought behind him. Shikamaru and Choji were just silent. "You guys should be a lot quieter, you are drawing attention to yourselves," said a soft voice behind them. Everyone except Hinata and Naruto turned to see a silver-haired boy with large framed glasses and a leaf headband walking towards them. He had an easy smile on his face. "And you?" asked Sasuke bluntly. The boy looked at Sasuke speculatively, before he smiled friendly. "I am Kabuto Yakashi, I am a Genin of Konoha," obviously said Kabuto. Sasuke glared slightly as Kabuto poked his forehead protector. "What do you want?" asked Shikamaru with a bored sigh. Kabuto smirked. "Well, being that you kids are the rookies, people have their predatory eye on you, and due to the fact the last Uchiha is a member of said group, some are out for blood," said Kabuto. Naruto sighed as he moved to stand next to Sasuke. Hinata went to stand with her team. They had caught up on the days they had missed, both had come to enjoy each other's company. "Ah yes, but rookies or not, some Genin, like you for example, get old. No doubt us rookies could beat you, your age and experience means nothing in a fight," said Naruto coolly. Kabuto looked at Naruto with slightly wide eyes. "And you are?" questioned Kabuto. Naruto raised a red eyebrow, his cool silver eyes taking in Kabuto's appearance. "None of your damn business," said Naruto with his calm expression. Kabuto pushed his glasses up his nose slightly and looked at the other Genin. "As I was saying, though you are rookies, being a fellow Leaf Nin, I can give you some help," said Kabuto. Kiba looked at Kabuto eagerly. "Cool, any help will do," said Kiba in excitement. Naruto simply crossed his arms. "Well, I have done this exam a few times so." But before Kabuto could finish, Naruto and Shikamaru interrupted at the same time. "How many?" they both questioned. They smirked at each other. Kabuto frowned slightly. "Well, this will be my 6th time," said Kabuto. Every other Genin looked shocked. Naruto and Shikamaru both threw each other a look. "So these tests must be totally difficult," said Kiba. Choji gulped and Shino just watched as Naruto and Shikamaru seemed to be deep in thought. Kabuto laughed as each of the Genin looked intrigued, except Naruto, Shikamaru, and Shino. "Yeah, they're difficult, which is why in all my time in these exams I have been collecting these," said Kabuto. He pulled out a large deck of cards. The rookies looked enthralled. Naruto looked at them with a questioning glance. "Wow, they must be extensive," said Ino in wonder. Kabuto chuckled in embarrassment. "They are. I even have information on new applicants for this match," said Kabuto. The rookies all looked at each other in excitement. "That is so cool," said Sakura. Kiba nodded at her, looking at the cards with awe. "So is there anyone you can think of?" asked Kabuto. Everyone was thoughtful when Sasuke spoke up. "Rock Lee and Neji Hyuga," said Sasuke. Kabuto smirked as he flipped the top cards. "And knowing them by name is easier. Rock Lee, Genin of Konoha, teammates are Tenten Higurashi and Neji Hyuga. He has a rare condition, meaning he has shrunken chakra pathways. He is slowly mastering many different forms of taijutsu, and his physical strength and resistance is higher than Sasuke Uchiha." "Do you want mission details?" questioned Kabuto. Sasuke shook his head. "Unimportant," he grunted. Kabuto nodded slightly. "Neji Hyuga, Genin of Konoha, teammates are Tenten Higurashi and Rock Lee, a Hyuga prodigy and last year's Rookie of the Year. He is said to be the best at the Hyuga fighting style and his Byakugan is at its peak," said Kabuto. Sasuke gave a scowl and nodded to himself. Naruto Uzumaki came in a motionless voice. Sasuke threw a quick glare. Naruto sighed and rubbed a hand through his hair. He was about to comment when Kabuto began talking. "Naruto Uzumaki, Genin of Konoha, teammates are Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. His chakra is said to rival that of Kakashi Hatake's, but other than that, he has no discernible traits. He is the weakest of all Genin. His control is minimal and he can barely perform any of the academy jutsu," said Kabuto with a chuckle. This drew snide laughs from people close enough to hear. "That card is inaccurate," said Gaara. Naruto smirked slightly. "My cards aren't a lie. Speaking of which, where is he?" "I don't see him anywhere," said Kabuto. He flipped the card to show a picture of a small blonde boy with a large cheesy grin. "That's your graduation photo," Hinata chuckled. Her tinkling laugh made Naruto smile slightly. "I didn't really get much time to take one before I had to get to school, so they used one of the mid-year photos," said Naruto. Kabuto blinked and looked at Naruto with wider eyes. My cards can't be wrong," said Kabuto. Naruto shrugged. "So what villages are here?" asked Kiba in excitement. Kabuto shook his head briefly and smiled at Kiba. "Well, we have the usual Suna, Kiri, a few Iwa and some Kumo Genin, nothing of importance. But there are also a few teams from Grass and other smaller villages. There is even a couple of teams from a fairly primal village called Sound. It's newly founded and probably doesn't have that many strong fighters," said Kabuto. Naruto turned and zoned in on the Sound team, glaring at Kabuto hotly. "But in a fight, unpredictability is a strong tactic," said Naruto. Kabuto gave a brief nod. "Yes, from a larger village perhaps, but the village is unknown." So, before Kabuto could finish, a man with bandages covering everything but one eye, a large scarf with a blotched pattern, appeared in front of Kabuto. He threw a punch at Kabuto. who quickly dodged his head backwards. The rookie Shinon relaxed, whilst Kiba and Akamaru winced and covered their ears. Naruto noticed this instantly and watched as Kabuto's glasses cracked from an invisible force. Kabuto fell to his knees, blood flowing out of his ears. "Stick this on your card. Sound is here to win," said the other male team member of the Sound group. Naruto tensed as their eyes moved onto the rookies, but before they could move, a large cloud of smoke appeared by the door. Sakura and Ino were helping Kabuto stand when they squeaked. Naruto rolled his eyes as many of the kids shuddered at Iviki's sadistic grin. "Quiet down, you little fuckers, test is set to begin. You can all fight later on," said Iviki, leveling the Sound ninja with a glare. "Who are you?" yelled a voice from the back of the room. Iviki smiled widely, the scar on his face stretching. Naruto just smirked inwardly, knowing the effects that smile would have. "I am Iviki Morino, your examiner," said Iviki. Everyone grew silent. Naruto sighed as he sat down in his numbered seat, right in the center of the room. To his left was a random Iwa ninja, and to the right was empty for the moment. He watched as Iviki smirked at him. Naruto gave a cool look his way, causing Iviki to chuckle. Naruto heard the chair next to him move, but he didn't need to look to know who it was. He recognized the chakra signature. "Hey, Hinata-chan," said Naruto. Hinata gave a chuckle. "Hi Naruto-kun," she said lightly. They were about to talk when suddenly Iviki gave a loud cough. "Okay fuckers, listen closely. There is a paper test being passed around. You will answer all 10 questions. On the paper is 9 questions. I will ask the 10th in an hour's time. All around the room are examiners. Cheat and they will put a strike against your name. 3 strikes and you and your team will be made to leave the exam. Equally answer a question wrong. It counts as a strike. Answer 2 questions wrong, and it's 4 strikes and your team will be asked to leave. Any more than 2 wrong answers, then you and your team will banned from the Chunin exams forever," said Iviki. Outrage was cried out among the Shinon. Naruto sat with his arms crossed, a smirk tweaking the edge of his lips. "But people here have been in the exams before," said Kiba. Iviki smirked menacingly. "They never had me as a proctor. The test will start now," said Iviki. Naruto flipped the paper and read through the questions. Question 9. 3 enemies are scouting for you. Your teammates are injured and you have 2 kunai left. If you were to throw one of the kunai and miss the enemy, how is it best to proceed? Naruto thought to himself. He read back through the questions, a pencil tapping in his hands. He heard the examiners scratch their paper. Marks against cheaters. Naruto smiled slightly as he watched Hinata answer her questions with relative ease. A few were skipped. Naruto looked up from his paper into the smirking face of Iviki. The little brat is different, cooler. He had moments during training. Looks like it finally took hold, Iviki thought. He watched as Naruto put his pencil down, latched his hands together beneath his chin, his eyes going blank. Iviki watched Naruto closely. Naruto's breathing had slowed, almost as if he was sleeping. Iviki looked at the clock and smirked. Teams were being asked to leave left, right and center. 5 more minutes before the final question, said Iviki. He watched as Naruto blinked and gave Iviki a confident smirk. Naruto's arm moved in a flurry on his paper. The cocky bastard. He knew the point of the test and to stop people copying from him. He waited right till the end. Iviki thought to himself in amusement. Naruto put the pencil on the paper and gave Iviki a small smile. Time's up, put your pens and pencils down. The condition for the final question, I will say the question once, there is no second time to hear it. But the condition is if you want to hear it, you can, but if you get the question wrong, you will be demoted back to your respective schools, said Iviki. Once more uproar sounded throughout the room. Iviki just raised a hand and silence followed. You can't do that, called out a random Shinon. Iviki smirked. I can, your villages have already agreed. As I was saying, get the question wrong and be demoted for another 3 years, and not be allowed to enter the Chunin exams again. Or you can leave now and try again next year, said Iviki. Almost instantly hands were raised, people requesting to leave. Teams left by large numbers. Anything else we should know, said one of the Sound Ninja. Iviki gave a smirk. If you fail, your whole team fails and goes back to the academy with you, said Iviki. More hands were raised. I thought we would have a strong batch this time, whispered one of the Chunin examiners. I know, but hey, Iviki-san is being unfair, answered another. Hinata was sat fiddling with her fingers, and her heart was pounding in her chest. The thought of being parted from her team and Naruto made her heart ache. Whilst she had had a major confidence boost from Naruto over the course of their friendship, the question was putting a lot of strain on her. Her hand went to move when she heard a snort. Like we all care, can't you see we are all going to take the risk, said Sasuke. Naruto bit his tongue to stop himself from correcting Sasuke. Hinata dropped her hand, her mind making its decision. Is he correct then? He watched as a few still looked unsure. Iviki nodded to himself. And you all pass, said Iviki. Naruto smiled slightly as people cried out their surprise. The point of the final question was to test your capacity to do what's necessary for the good of your village, while Sasuke said it was about taking risks. That is not entirely correct, it's about whether or not you will do what is necessary, said Naruto. Ibiki nodded seriously. The kid got it in one. It's not about taking risks, just using a jutsu is taking a risk. It's about whether or not you would kill a civilian if they posed a threat to your village. You each posed a threat to your own team, yourselves and your village. You each decided that no matter what you would see it through to the end. A trait needed in a Chunin, said Ibiki. Many called out questions. I'm glad you stuck it out, Hinata. I would be sad to see you miss out on an opportunity, said Naruto softly. Hinata blushed and nodded. Me too, she whispered. Naruto was about to say something else when he groaned lightly. Oh no, he moaned, his face still calm. The window smashed in, causing others to jump in surprise. A large black ball flew to the center of the room. Before exploding outwards, 4 kunai in each corner, Anko stood in the center. The black banner claiming the beautiful snake mistress of Konoha. Naruto rolled his eyes. Heads up, boys and girls, this is no time to be celebrating. I'll be your next proctor. Anko Madarashi. You ready for the second test? Good. Then let's go, follow me, said Anko with a sadistic smirk on her face. Read the room, Anko. You are early, said Ibiki with a grumble. Anko turned to him slightly. You are just sad because you can't spend more time with your adopted little brother, said Anko quietly. Ibiki smirked slightly. Maybe, said Ibiki simply. Anko turned to look at the room and scowled. Ibiki let a lot of you through, but don't worry, because after my exam this group will be lowered by more than half, said Anko. Janan blanched in surprise and horror. Anko watched as Naruto spoke with Hinata. His usual cold expression was open and calm. The hopeful Janan each blanched at the large encroaching forest. Naruto heard Hinata give a small whimper. Naruto watched as Anko lapped up all the fear the Janan were exuding. The forest of death, the place where little Janan like yourselves are eaten alive, said Anko with a malicious grin. Surely you are kidding, right, whispered a random Iwa Janan. Oh, but I am not. Inside this forest you will meet giant tigers, snakes and other assorted monsters. But in this test you will also encounter each other. Each of you will be given a secret scroll. One is earth, the other is heaven. To complete this test, you must get the opposite scroll your team has. So if one team has an earth and another has a heaven, you must fight each other and gain the other's scroll. Once you have one of each, you must get to the tower in the center. You each have 3 days, said Anko. Choji chocked slightly. What about food, whispered Choji. Anko gave a loud boisterous laugh. Eat off the fat of the land, said Anko. Choji gulped and rustled through his food pack. Naruto smiled warmly at Hinata, well, as warm as he could manage. Don't worry, Hinata-chan, you will do fine, said Naruto softly. Hinata blushed, but nodded. Hey, no talking while I am talking, said Anko in annoyance. Naruto rolled his eyes. All you are doing is instilling more fear on us, Janan. We can handle it, said Naruto coolly. Anko gave a boisterous chuckle. People like you, Uzumaki-kun, leave blood all over this forest, said Anko. She threw a kunai towards Naruto, who simply dodged the blade with a tilt of his head. Anko appeared behind him, a kunai in her hand. She slid it effortlessly by his neck. And yet you still missed the first dot again, said Naruto coolly. Anko smirked. I do so hope you finish this part of the test, brat, said Anko with a menacing whisper. Naruto just sighed and Anko frowned when she saw a kunai slid past her face. I believe you dropped your kunai, hissed the grass nin. Anko smiled slightly. Thank you, Kusa-san, said Anko, though she eyed the ninja suspiciously. She got behind me without me sensing her, thought Anko. She watched the ninja with suspicious eyes. Now before you start, you must each sign this form, said Anko, holding up the paper. She had swiftly moved back to her original position. What are they, asked Asuna Ninja? Anko smiled slightly. Release forms, so your village can't come and kill me for your deaths, said Anko, her tone blasé. Janan blanched. Gaara looked at Naruto with a maniacal look. Gaara turned to Anko. Is killing permitted, asked Gaara, his tone eager. Of course it's not much of a test if you all have to hold back, said Anko seriously. She handed out the paper and saw the Chunin examiners nod in their booths. Naruto Uzumaki, you are mine, Gaara thought maliciously. Anko sighed as she looked up at the sky. You and your teams have 5 minutes to decide who the scroll carrier is, and after that they will collect the scroll in your entry point. Good luck, maggot, said Anko before she turned and stood in front of the main gate. Naruto walked with his team to the secluded area just away from the large group. Who is going to carry the scroll? Asked Sakura. Naruto and Sasuke looked at each other. Know any useful Fuinjutsu? Asked Sasuke. Naruto raised an eyebrow. All Fuinjutsu is useful, and yes, in fact, I can seal it into a pocket dimension, we should hinge a plain scroll, and I could rig the scroll to explode upon opening. Meaning we deal a blow should the fake be taken, said Naruto. Sasuke nodded. That's good, that way we can get our other scroll with any hassle, whilst our scroll is protected, said Sasuke. Naruto nodded and stood up. He held out his hand for his team's waiver forms. Back in a second, said Naruto. Team 7 stood outside their respective gate. Naruto was flicking a kunai in his hand, Sasuke was activating and deactivating his Sharingan, and Sakura was tying her hair into a messy bun, held together with a senbon. Okay Team 7, good luck, said the Konoha Jonin. The alarm sounded and the gates flew open. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura each jumped into the trees. They sat crouched and nodded to each other. Okay, so Naruto, send a clone to the tower, set up a seal, we will get the heaven scroll and use the eternal chakra trap to teleport us to the tower, said Sasuke. Naruto and Sakura nodded. A clone appeared next to Naruto, it nodded once and dashed through the trees. Sasuke and Sakura both smirked slightly. Naruto just frowned. What is it, asked Naruto simply. Sasuke smirked. You sent 2 clones, didn't you, asked Sasuke. Naruto just sighed and rolled his eyes. Yeah, so the other can watch for our signal and protect the seal, said Naruto. Sasuke nodded, accepting the answer. They dashed through the trees, appearing only to stop and check their position. As they stopped, a cry of pain was heard throughout the forest. One down, murmured Sasuke. Naruto gave a nod. He sent out his chakra, sensing the area for a team. Almost instantly, 3 chakra signatures were felt up ahead. A team of 3, said Naruto. Sakura nodded with surprise. Sasuke smirked confidently. I got this. Stay here, said Sasuke. Naruto moved to stop him, only for Sasuke to hop out of the tree. Sasuke landed in the small clearing, a confident smirk plastered on his face. 2 Iwa Jinan stepped out of the bushes. Damn, we were hoping for the red head, said the tallest ninja. Sasuke frowned slightly. Why would you want Naruto? Questioned Sasuke. The female gave a snort. Come now, he has the face of our nation's enemy, Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, said the girl. Sasuke froze. The image of the 4th Hokage flashed through his mind. It was a picture his father owned. It was a blonde man stood next to his father. The blonde had a small smile on his calm and cool face. His father was just smirking at the camera. Sasuke saw it immediately. You honestly didn't know, said the tallest male. His silver hair was spiked up. He never said Sasuke. The girl snorted. Because his father was a failure and was killed by the Kyuubi no Yoko, said the girl. Sakura was just stood with wide eyes. She had hopped down to back up Sasuke. Why wouldn't he say anything, they thought? Before anyone could say anything, a body bounced in the center. That would be true, except my father wasn't a failure, said Naruto simply. He crouched and put his hand on the tree trunk. He leapt upwards, blurring. The girl tensed. She ducked, narrowly avoiding the slice. The tall male did not, however, and he fell to the ground, the back of his neck slit. The girl gasped in shock. Why don't you killed him? The girl whispered in horror. She turned and shivered. Naruto's cool silver eyes slid over her. You are an enemy, and as such, said Naruto before he disappeared. The girl gasped as she fell to the floor, blood coming out of her mouth. And Naruto, whispered Sakura. Naruto just regarded her with a blank stare. They had the heaven scroll, if it ready too. But before Naruto could finish, wind ripped through the clearing. It sent Naruto flying. Sasuke and Sakura held themselves to the ground with chakra, but Sakura realized the epicenter was aimed at Naruto. Naruto clutched the scroll tightly in his hand as he was thrown backwards through the forest. His eyes darkened to blood red, the swirl spun and Naruto threw out his hands. The jutsu seemed to dissipate almost instantly and Naruto realized it wasn't his doing. Naruto landed on his feet. He let the yellow lightning surround the scroll before it disappeared. He took a step forward when a loud hiss and shadow blocked the light. Naruto turned to look at the large snake with his Rinnegan activated. You're no ordinary snake, said Naruto simply. The snake lunged forward. Its mouth opened wide. Naruto let the yellow lightning cover his body. A weightless feeling moved through his veins. As the snake's mouth snapped on him, he simply took a step through the snake's mouth. How inconvenient, said Naruto coolly. His hand traveled to the hilt of his tanto. In a blur his arm moved. He disappeared in a flash of yellow lightning. He landed on the head of the snake. I wonder who summoned you, said Naruto. He slammed the blade into the head of the snake. Said snake disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Naruto fell to the floor with a simple landing, as if he glided to the floor. He rubbed a hand through his hair and in a flash of yellow lightning he was gone. Sasuke ducked beneath a slice of the kunai, his body still trembling from the genjutsu-laced killer intent. He grabbed Sakura and jumped to the next branch. She was still unresponsive. Sasuke ducked again and sent out a kick. It struck the grass nin in her stomach and she skidded backwards. "Oh Uchiha-kun, how disappointing, all this to protect a teammate," said the grass nin with a hiss. She dashed across the tree, brandishing two kunai. Sasuke was prepared to fight. Despite his shaking body, he blinked as a blue slice cut into the tree. Naruto landed on the branch, his tanto in his hand reverse grip. "Stay back," said Naruto coolly. The grass nin stopped in her attack, her long tongue licking her lips. "You are very fast indeed," said the grass nin. Naruto blurred forward. He sliced in a wide arc. The grass nin simply ducked her head backwards. Naruto followed up with a roundhouse kick, his foot shimmering blue slightly. The grass nin attempted to catch the foot, only to be rocketed into a nearby tree. Naruto spun and placed his foot back on the tree, his tanto clenched in his hand. "Get Sakura-chan awake, Sasuke," said Naruto. Sasuke shook his head. "Naruto, she is too strong. If I couldn't fight her then," said Sasuke. Naruto just smiled at him. "I am the son of the fourth Hokage. I can handle it," said Naruto simply. Sasuke bristled. He turned and shook Sakura sharply. The grass nin climbed out of the tree, splinters stabbed into her body. "Strong as well. This is surprising," said the grass nin, her voice seemingly deeper. Naruto relaxed his stance slightly, and ducked under a swift fist. Naruto flipped backwards, watching as a kick moved beneath his face. Naruto landed on his feet, twisted his body to the side, holding the tanto up to block the kunai stabbed at him. "Who are you?" asked Naruto. The grass nin smirked. "None of your business, child," said the grass nin. Naruto felt the force on his tanto triple, his feet skidding backwards slightly. Naruto frowned and flipped over the grass nin, his arm moving in graceful arcs, slicing in smooth movements. As he landed, he slid his tanto home. The grass nin turned to mud. Naruto cursed and flipped backwards as the branch exploded, the grass nin moving forward with her fists. She touched the branch briefly before she followed Naruto into the air. Naruto twisted in mid-air, dodging a heavy punch. His foot shimmered as he spun and kicked at the grass nin. The grass nin caught the foot, and was once again rocketed into a tree. Naruto twisted his body and landed on another branch. "Inconvenient," grumbled Naruto. He watched as the grass nin snaked up the tree. "You brat are very interesting indeed," said the grass nin. "Thanks," said Naruto coolly. The grass nin smirked. "But the gap in our power is something you cannot change. Whilst I admit I won't be able to catch any of your little power strikes, I can certainly beat you," said the grass nin. Naruto tensed and watched as the nin crouched. Naruto did the same. His palm struck the floor. The grass nin dashed and ran across the trees, tearing up the wood. Naruto jumped and blurred. He landed, and in an almost invisible motion he sliced his tanto. The grass nin simply moved elegantly around the slice, uppercut Naruto. Naruto was rocketed backwards. He flipped his body and landed on his feet. The grass nin was upon him almost instantly, but Naruto moved swiftly, his body twisting, dodging the punch. He removed his tanto and slashed at the grass nin. Each strike was precise. A few caught the grass nin, each searing through her body. Naruto was focused. "This is a different Naruto, not the one who sparred against me, or Kakashi. This is the battle Naruto," thought Sasuke. He was in awe. Naruto and the grass nin were dancing, dodging blows and sending their own. The only downside was Naruto was not hitting the grass nin as much. "This brat amuses me, so much potential," thought the grass nin. Naruto simply stopped and dodged punches as fast as he could. His limbs shimmered and the grass nin cursed. Naruto moved into taijutsu. His own style caused the grass nin to widen her eyes. "You're making this increasingly harder for me to kill you," said the grass nin. Naruto smirked slightly. He blurred and slammed his palms against the grass nin. The grass nin flew against the tree. A sickening snap echoed through the clearing. Naruto huffed slightly, his limb strength fading. "Naruto, watch out," called Sasuke, but Naruto felt the force slam into the side of his body. He was rocketed to another tree. His back cracked against the tree. He felt a force slam into his skull, rocketing him to the floor. "I have had enough," said a male voice. Naruto shakily looked up at the grass nin. Her face had been pulled off on one side, showing a pallid male face. "Naruto, must you be so weak? Use your full abilities for fuck's sake," cursed the demon. Naruto scowled and smirked slightly. "Got it," said Naruto. The grass nin frowned slightly. He had sensed the demonic chakra that had flashed through the boy's system. Naruto disappeared in a blur. He flipped and landed on the tree, his hands flashing through hand seals faster than anyone could see. He ended with hoarse and sucked in a breath. The grass nin watched as a large blue majestic fire was expelled towards him. Naruto pulled out his tanto and let the yellow lightning course through his body. He disappeared and sliced backwards and forwards. The lightning fade. He slammed his palm onto the floor and appeared next to Sasuke. Sasuke watched as Naruto raised a hand. Bright blue katanas began to appear over the smoky area. Naruto had sneakily used the fire and smoke to hide his space/time ninjutsu. Sasuke watched as Naruto dropped his hands and the 100 swords rained down. Naruto collapsed to his knees, his body aching. Kukugaku, and I thought the Uzumaki was a blonde-haired brat. My informant needs some scene to, said the male voice. Naruto tried to frown through the smoke, when he felt a force slam into the back of his head. He flew into the ground. He bounced once before someone landed on his back. He cried out in pain. He felt hands lace into the back of his coat. The grass nin flipped over Naruto, the grass nin's body bending in an impossible angle. He threw Naruto into a tree. Naruto cried out once more. The grass nin moved swiftly towards Naruto. He stabbed a kunai through Naruto's chest, and Naruto's eyes were wide. The grass nin's eyes were wide as it appeared he just stabbed a coat. Naruto jumped and kicked the side of the grass nin's face. The grass nin was rocketed to the side, his eyes open wide. Naruto pulled the kunai out of the tree and pulled his coat to him. He saw a bright light heading towards him. He was then covered in fire. Naruto cried out Sakura. Naruto winced as the fire licked against his skin, but it didn't burn. It was a scratching sensation. You wouldn't think I would allow my container to be affected by my natural elements, said the Kyuubi snidely. Naruto felt his t-shirt burn away, but surprisingly his pants and boots had minor charring. The fire died out and Naruto coughed slightly. Ash and dust covered his skin. He dodged backwards as the now pallid man threw punch after punch at him. Naruto caught one of the hands and winced as a slash burned his abdomen. Down to see a large gash, a kunai brandished in the man's other hands. Foolish little boy, you think you can outfight a Sennin? Your skills are top-notch, no doubt, but nothing against a Sennin, said the pallid man. Naruto felt a hand wrap around his throat. Or Orochimaru, coughed Naruto, blooding seeping freely from the wound on his abdomen. It hid part of the seal. Orochimaru looked at said seal and licked his lips. I thought the Jinchuriki had died long ago, but then my informant was wrong about most things, said Orochimaru. His fingers glowed purple as Naruto struggled against Orochimaru's hold. Naruto called Sakura. Sasuke was holding her back. Orochimaru slammed his fingers against the seal, aggravating the wound and causing a red-hot fire to spread quickly through Naruto's veins. Naruto screamed out in agony, his coat clutched in his hands in a white-knuckled grip. Naruto heard the Kyuubi panic. Naruto, this seal is sealing me away. I am leaving the healing chakra your side. Heal yourself, survive. Be careful, kid, said the Kyuubi before his voice drifted away. Naruto fell to his knees as a blood-curdling yell tore through his lips. The fire behind his eyes was building. Orochimaru smirked and after a few hand seals, blew Naruto away. Naruto, damn it, Sasuke, let go, said Sakura in anger. Sasuke was shocked that Sakura could be angry at him. But it was short-lived as Orochimaru slid effortlessly in front of them. Scars littered his body from Naruto's attacks, and one of his arms was severely burnt. Sakura shrunk back in fear. Sasuke looked down at the spot where Naruto was almost charred alive. Orochimaru smirked and kicked Sakura in the head, sending her flying to the opposite branch. Sakura rolled onto her knees and watched as Sasuke shrunk back, scuttling backwards on his backside. Stay back, cried out Sasuke, fear shooting through his veins. Orochimaru just gave his signature laugh and slid his fingers in Sasuke's hair. He pulled Sasuke up forcefully. You have been weakened by compassion. How do you expect to defeat Itachi with that mindset? Don't worry, I can give you power, said Orochimaru, whispering in Sasuke's ear, and from Sakura's angle it was like Orochimaru gave Sasuke a kiss on the neck. But Sasuke's scream of pain told her differently, and like a phantom Orochimaru disappeared with a chuckle. Naruto awoke to the sounds of birds chirping. The cool evening air hit his skin, his hair moving in ice-cold water. Naruto sat up quickly, but winced as pain shot through his body. His hand dropped into the ice-cold pool of the water. He checked his surroundings, and his eyes widened slightly in surprise. It was a perfect circle clearing, a natural pool in the center, perfect green grass and beautiful shimmering ivory and lilac flowers. Blood-red roses also lined the side. Naruto flashed his Rinnegan in an attempt to dispel the possible genjutsu, but what happened wasn't what he was expecting. The clearing became sharper than what his Rinnegan would provide. He could see each of the tiny bugs flitting in the clearing, each individual crack in the bark of the tree. Naruto tried to stand only to fall onto his knees, his arm moving to his abdomen. He hissed as his bare arm aggravated his wound. He turned to look, splashed some cold water onto his face and felt his eyes widen and surprise marred his cool face. In place of his swirl, it was now a simple flat blood red. 3 very distinct kamas sat in each eye. A perfect Sharingan. Naruto attempted to cut the chakra to his eyes, but found that no matter what he did, it wouldn't shut off. Naruto sighed and stood shakily, his hands moving to the buckle on his belt, his feet slipping off his boots. His tanto was strapped safely in its scabbard. Naruto dropped his pants and underwear, his body reacting as the cool air hit his naked skin. Naruto dipped a toe in the ice-cold pond and he gave a shiver. With a sigh he simply jumped into the pond. It was deeper than he thought. His body was submerged. He briefly considered possible diseases from the water, but as the aggravation of his wound lessened he shrugged off the thought. Naruto stayed underwater longer than most would be able to, his mind in deep thought. He was feeling through his chakra trying to find the healing chakra. His Sharingan helped with identifying chakra, but it was hard to keep a grasp. Naruto swam upwards taking in a gulp of air. His hair was matted to his head. His silk hair tie was floating on the water, leaving his hair to fall down covering his eyes. The back fell to the middle of his shoulder blades. His horns stood up slightly, but not as much when dry. He stood near the side of the pond, leaving the water to go up to his waist. Naruto simply stood and looked up at the clouds. The clearing was the epitome of peaceful. Naruto sighed and pushed his hair backwards. His slicked back look and serious face made him look much like his grandfather, but his father's features were definitively there. Naruto smiled slightly. He had grown accustomed to the horns, which were sticking back up once again. Naruto climbed out of the pond, his wound aching in protest. Naruto had decided to get out after his skin had shriveled slightly. Naruto changed quickly. He pulled the coat onto his shoulders, leaving his arms free from their sleeves. His wound ached if he moved his arms too much. Naruto walked to the edge of the clearing, his arm held across his waist. He looked back once more, committing the area to memory. He would return here frequently. This was his peace. He shivered as he walked through the now dark woods. Animals seemed to stalk him frequently, but they would suddenly be chased away by some other larger animal. Naruto stumbled slightly. He heard a quiet whine and looked to his side. A small fox cub was sat looking at him with a cocked head. "Hey little guy," said Naruto softly into the air, his cold demeanor still in place. The fox yipped lightly and moved towards Naruto. Naruto turned and sat down, exhaustion catching up with him. The fox cub put 2 paws on his leg and yipped. Naruto took in the fox's color. It was strange. It wasn't the conventional color of a fox. This fox was white, not a dirty white, but a pure and ice white. The marking on the end of the tail was a majestic blue, similar to his blue fire. The fox's eyes were a piercing silver. Naruto laughed into the air slightly, his lips quirking. "I'm going to call you Daisuke," said Naruto. The fox yipped in excitement and leapt around. Naruto smiled slightly. The fox buried itself within Naruto's side. Naruto noted that the fox was unusually warm. "I'm Naruto, by the way." "Naruto Uzumaki," said Naruto. He felt the fox lick his side slightly. Naruto's hand moved to the cub's soft fur. Sakura blinked as a rustling sound roused her from her sleep. She had carried Sasuke and attempted to heal his ever-growing fever. She was exhausted from the day's events. She had to carry Sasuke and heal him at the same time, and also she worried about Naruto, where he had ended up. She had thought about going to find him, but she knew she could jeopardize the team. Her plan was get to the tower and force the clone to return Naruto to her. She was tired and had laced a clearing with traps, and had fallen asleep inside the trunk of a large tree. Sasuke was shivering and had a wet towel on his head. Sakura blinked the sleep from her eyes as the rustling was closer. She heard a yip and a scold from a familiar cool voice. "Damn it, Daisuke, stop yipping," said Naruto. Sakura gasped and stood quickly. She stepped out from the trunk, pushing the curtain of leaves away. She watched as Naruto stumbled into the clearing, his arm laced across his abdomen. On his shoulder was a panting little fox, its tongue lolling out at the side. Sakura leapt at Naruto and wrapped her arms around him. "Naruto, you're okay," she whispered, tears forming in her eyes. She realized Naruto was unresponsive. She stepped back blushing. Naruto smiled slightly. "Glad to see you're alright. Where is Sasuke?" asked Naruto. Sakura sighed. She looked at Naruto. He seemed calmer than usual. He was shirtless. His coat hung on his shoulders. His hair was slicked back slightly. A few strands fell down his face. It was also undone at the back, falling down past his shoulders. "He was bit by the ninja," he screamed in pain. "A strange seal was placed on his neck," said Sakura. She looked into Naruto's eyes and gasped, her hand flying up to her lips. She remembered all those months ago. The blood-red swirl in his eyes. Now his eyes were the perfect Sharingan, 3 tomos in each eye. "I know, Sakura. Your guess is as good as mine. Let's have a look at Sasuke, shall we?" said Naruto, blowing some hair as it fell in his eyes. Naruto moved around Sakura. The fox looked at Sakura with its ears perked up. "Where did you find the fox?" asked Sakura. She realized the fox wasn't the usual, conventional colors of a fox. "It found me," said Naruto simply. Sakura realized briefly that Naruto got through all of her traps without tripping one. "How did you get through my traps? None have been set off," asked Sakura. Naruto looked at her and raised an eyebrow. She took one look into his eyes and rolled her own. "Sharingan. Right," said Sakura. She sat next to Naruto as Naruto took a look at the seal. His mouth was pulled down slightly. "What a strange seal. It has so many elements I can't identify it. All I know is this curse mark." "It's bad news," said Naruto simply. Sakura gave a small whimper, but she noticed the red raw wound on Naruto's stomach. "Naruto, why haven't you healed yet? You have that weird accelerated healing, right?" asked Sakura. Naruto rubbed the wound and winced. "Healing is slow going for the moment," said Naruto. Sakura nodded and moved to Naruto. She placed her hand on his shoulders, only for the fox to give an adorable little growl. "It's okay. What's its name?" asked Sakura. Naruto smiled slightly, scratching the fox behind the ear, a movement it welcomed. "His name is Daisuke," said Naruto simply. Sakura smiled at the cub. "Don't worry, Daisuke-kun, I'm just going to heal your friend," said Sakura kindly. The cub regarded her before it shocked them both by giving a nod. Sakura blinked slightly before she pushed Naruto to lie down. Naruto removed his arm and Sakura began to heal the wound. Naruto closed his eyes and went into meditation mode, trying to find the healing chakra. He found it once more. He grabbed hold of it mentally and tried to control it. Sakura gasped slightly as his wound knit together. "Keep healing. You are helping me control it," said Naruto. Sakura nodded. She watched as a black seal began to appear on his abdomen. It was an elegant design, and then 5 points were added to the outside of the seal. They both stopped healing. Sakura grabbed some gauze and wrapped it around his abdomen and over his shoulder. "People will question why you are healed so quickly," said Sakura, her eyes drifting to the seal. "You don't want to know," said Naruto. Sakura looked at Naruto sharply. "I do. Why didn't you tell us the fourth was your dad?" asked Sakura. Naruto frowned and rubbed a hand through his already slicked back hair. He pulled a few of the loose strands backwards. "Because the Hokage told me not to. That and you would all start to expect greatness. I want people to know me for me," said Naruto. Sakura nodded, accepting the reason slightly. "But you should have said, I always thought you were an orphan. It must be nice having a family even if they are." Sakura trailed off. Naruto nodded. "It is nice," said Naruto. Sakura looked into Naruto's Sharingan. "Was your mother an Uchiha?" asked Sakura. Naruto blinked before he looked away. "No," he said simply. They both fell into silence. Sakura was contemplating the truth and mystery surrounding Naruto. She begrudgingly admitted, he was far more mysterious than Sasuke. It was quiet through the day. Both were helping Sasuke in any way they could. The fox cub just spent most of its time attached to Naruto. "So are you just going to teleport us back to the tower? We can heal Sasuke there," said Sakura. Naruto shook his head. "Sasuke is not ready to be moved. Once he is up I will make the preparations," said Naruto softly. Sakura nodded and continued to heal what she could. "Naruto, I won't tell anyone if you don't want me to. About your dad said Sakura. Naruto nodded. "Sasuke already heard. But don't tell anyone else," said Naruto simply. Sakura nodded and suddenly one of her traps went off. "Someone is here," said Sakura. She sent out a chakra pulse to find out where the enemy was. She felt 3 chakra signatures in a tree the opposite end of the clearing. "Yes, 3. They have been there for 30 minutes. They are checking for an entry point," said Naruto simply. Sakura nodded and relaxed. "There are 3 layers to the traps plus a hidden 4th," said Sakura. Naruto nodded in understanding. "Sakura, they are going to attack in the morning. You go out there and fight. I will circle and flank them," said Naruto. Sakura nodded. "Good plan, Naruto. What about Sasuke?" asked Sakura. Naruto tweaked his mouth slightly. "We are strong enough to defend him," said Naruto. Sakura nodded. Naruto motioned for her to lie down. "What?" murmured Sakura. Naruto smiled slightly. "Get some rest." "We need our strength," said Naruto simply. He stared, his eyes able to see in the dark easily. He could see the 3 ninja clearly. Their lips were easily spotted. He could tell what they were talking about. Their lip movements making words in his mind. Orochimaru-sama said, "Watch out if the red head is there. There are 3 chakra signatures inside. The red head is the one who burnt Orochimaru-sama," said the sound ninja with bandages on his head. Naruto smirked slightly, pleased he had dealt some damage to Orochimaru. It was early morning when Sakura woke silently. "Are they still there?" asked Sakura quietly. Naruto nodded silently. They had moved into a direct position. Be careful, said Naruto. Sakura nodded and stretched. She gave Sasuke a once-over, and after healing him slightly, her and Naruto both sat in anticipation. It was 11 when all the traps were set off. Sakura leapt out of the tree in mock surprise. The three sound ninja landed in the clearing. Sakura tensed her fingers, grasping the senbone in her pack. Hand over Sasuke, Uchiha little girl, and we won't kill you, said the bandaged leader. Dosu, let's just waste this chick and get the Uchiha, said the brown-haired ninja. He had 2 worn wooden face protectors attached to his headband. He wore a beige shirt with 2 black stripes and 3 prints of the kanji for death down the front. The girl had long black hair, a pale green vest, similar to a flak jacket, and snake-patterned pants and scarf. Sakura looked at the team blankly. Sorry, but you 3 won't last long, said Sakura. Confidence echoed in her voice. She was about to move forward when a green blur appeared in front of her. Sakura-chan, have no fear, for the handsome green beast has arrived to fight for you, said Lee. Sakura gave a sigh. Lee, it's fine. I had a plan, said Sakura. Lee looked at her with tears in his eyes. But Sakura-chan, But before Lee could finish, Sakura shoved into him hard. He stumbled backwards as the air rippled in the middle of them. The trees behind them exploded from the invisible force. Weirdo in green, get the fuck away so I can kill this little bitch, said the beige-shirted sound ninja. Lee stood in his fighting stance. I cannot allow that. She is a fellow leaf ninja, said Lee before he blurred. He dashed at the beige-shirted member, only to have his way blocked by Dosu. I will not allow you to harm my teammate, said Dosu. Lee simply spun and kicked Dosu around the head. Dosu bounced sideways. Lee was upon him once more. Whilst they were fighting, Sakura and the other 2 stood still. So who goes first, said the sound girl, her confident smirk unwavering. I will, said the beige-shirted member. Sakura tensed and fingered her senbone lightly. You have such pretty hair, whispered a voice in her ear. Sakura winced as the female sound member laced a hand into her long hair, pulling it out from the bun. Where are you, Naruto? Sakura thought. The girl was about to cut her hair when Dosu was kicked into the air. Lee had wrapped him in bandages, and now they were both spinning towards the ground. The beige-shirted ninja slammed his palms into the floor, the ground rippling towards the impact point. Dosu's head was submerged with a crack, and Lee flipped backwards onto his knees. He was panting from the physical strain. That was a close one, Dosu, said the beige-shirted ninja. Dosu put his legs on the floor and pulled his head out of the ground. That was too close, Saku, said Dosu in anger. Lee looked at the unharmed ninja in disbelief. Said ninja looked at him and simply sent out a fist. Sakura watched as Lee began to shake, his ears bleeding. Dosu walked up to Lee and simply kicked him in the stomach. Damn it, leave him alone, screamed Sakura. She received a punch in the face courtesy of the female member of the team. Shut up, said the female. Saku walked towards the tree when he was suddenly rocketed backwards by an invisible force. He slid next to the female member, shock on his face. Sorry, I am late, said Naruto as he casually appeared out of thin air, his feet touching the ground gracefully. Where the fuck were you, growled Sakura. Naruto tapped his nose. Team 10 were hidden behind the tree line, watching the 2 groups in suspense. Ino covered her nose at the topless Naruto. Naruto looked straight at them. Shikamaru, Ino and Choji, get out of there, said Naruto. Shikamaru sighed and stood up. Lee felt his vision swim. He is the one guy Sensei warned me about. How he is stronger than he appears, thought Lee. He felt a boot drive into his face. Ah, here is the pretty redhead, said the female member with a predatory grin. Naruto regarded her coolly. Shikamaru and team stood by Naruto. Shikamaru took one look at Naruto's eyes and felt his own eyes widen. Don't bother, muttered Naruto. Shikamaru nodded and watched as the female member drove her boot into Sakura's stomach. Kin, we are outnumbered, said Dosu. Kin nodded and dropped Sakura's hair. She drove a couple of boots in for extra measure. Whoever said we would let you run away, said Naruto, his face cold. We are stronger than all of you, said Zaku with confidence. Naruto shrugged. Maybe, said Naruto. He crouched and touched his hand to the floor. He jumped and blurred. He landed behind Dosu, his blade sliding home with a click. Dosu cried out in anger as his metal gauntlet fell to the floor. Kin kicked Sakura harshly, before her body shuddered. Shikamaru, I have her. Get the other one, said Ino in Kin's body, but before she could move, a harsh strike of air hit her in the stomach. Ino's body coughed out blood. Damn it, she was your teammate, said Choji in anger. Saku shrugged. Not at the moment. I wonder what would happen if I kill her, said Zaku maliciously. Dosu glared at Naruto. That wasn't the only thing I used, said Dosu. He looked at Naruto in the eye and blinked in shock. Oh, I know, but you are in my way, said Naruto. He spun and kicked Dosu in the head, his foot shimmering. Dosu felt the boulder force strike his head and he flew to his teammates with a thump. Uzumaki-san Sasuke Uchiha is, said Neji before a potent killing intent leveled the clearing. Purple chakra swirled around the tree trunk. Sasuke stepped out with a purely evil smirk on his face. Naruto raised an eyebrow slightly and looked at Sasuke. Sasuke, murmured Naruto. Sasuke locked eyes with Naruto. Naruto watched as comprehension flicked across Sasuke's face. His glare deepened at Naruto. I will deal with you in a moment, said Sasuke harshly. He turned to look at Sakura. He moved to her with a deadly gait. Ino and her team moved away. Ino shivered. Sasuke-kun whispered Ino. Sasuke bent down and grabbed Sakura's chin, his eyes soft. Who did this to you, Sakura? Questioned Sasuke. Sakura was about to answer when Zaku stepped forward. I did? Why, what are you going to do about? But Sasuke disappeared in a blur. He appeared behind Zaku. I will kill you, said Sasuke. He kicked Zaku hard, his mind reveling in the speed and strength his body had. Sasuke was brutal. He moved around the hurt Zaku and grabbed both of his arms. Sasuke, stop, said Naruto forcefully. Sasuke glared at him. Don't tell me what to do, you worthless liar, said Sasuke. Sasuke put his foot on Zaku's back. He began pulling. The creaking was heard by everyone in the clearing, and even Neji and Tenten in the tree. Ah, get off, cried out Zaku. Sasuke just smirked. You seem attached to these arms, so I will take them away, said Sasuke, the crunching sound getting louder. Sakura wrapped her arms around Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, stop it. I'm okay, said Sakura. Sasuke pushed her off and wrenched out Zaku's arms with a swift motion. Zaku cried out in agony. He stumbled to his team, his arms not moving at all. Get the fuck out of here, said Sasuke maliciously. His glare moved onto Naruto. Don't even bother, said Naruto. Sasuke glared at Naruto. How is it you have the Sharingan? Anybody other than Uchiha is not worthy, said Sasuke. Naruto raised a red eyebrow. Naruto crouched and did his speed technique. Sasuke backward flipped onto his hands. He was about to strike at Naruto when he made the mistake of making eye contact. Sasuke awoke tied to a tree. His body ached, his head was pounding. Awake, I see. Are you calm enough to talk to? Asked Naruto softly. Sasuke looked at Naruto's still active Sharingan. How do you have the Sharingan? Asked Sasuke. Naruto sighed and shrugged. I don't even know, I had a totally different dojutsu that morphed into this, said Naruto. Sasuke shook his head. Whatever, just let me down, said Sasuke. Naruto just looked to Sakura, who gave a nod. Sasuke, are you well enough to travel? We're going to teleport to the tower, said Sakura. Sasuke just glared at her. Let me down, said Sasuke simply. Naruto sighed and let Sasuke down. Let's go, said Naruto. He held out his palms on either side. Sasuke and Sakura both moved next to him, both putting their palms against each other and his. Naruto had a clone send a blue fireball into the air. Sasuke and Sakura felt their bodies pull upwards. It was like they were being stretched. They then watched as they were pulled into nothingness for the briefest moment. Then they appeared in front of the tower. The clone stood with his palm on the ground and the other hand was a single ram seal. Team 7 felt their bodies lock, unable to move. Naruto motioned his eyes to the clone, and the clone released the seal. Naruto stumbled slightly, his chakra and mind taking a hit from an active clone being alive from so long. You okay? Questioned Sakura. Naruto nodded. Let's finish this part of the exam, said Naruto. Naruto and the other hopeful Junon were stood in a large assembly hall. Nobody had a chance to relax, as they had to sit in this room and wait. Shikamaru's team was the last to arrive. The hall was large with 2 balconies on either side, a hand sculpture in the form of a ram seal. Naruto smiled at Hinata, glad to see she was okay. The Hokage coughed to get people's attention. Congratulations on all students who completed this part of the exams. Now for the next part. The Hokage was interrupted by a Jonin who appeared crouched in front of him. Let me, Hokage-sama, said the sick-looking Jonin. He turned and regarded the hopefuls with a critical eye. Kakashi, glad to see your students made it, said Guy. Kakashi just ignored him, but he then suddenly looked up from his book. Oh Guy, did you say something, said Kakashi. Guy cried whilst Tenten looked at Kakashi with a critical eye. He looks much stronger than Guy-sensei, he is also much better looking. I've only seen him play stupid games with Guy-sensei, thought Tenten. The Jonin coughed before he began. Due to the large number of contestants actually passing the second part of the exam, we're going to be holding a preliminary test. You will each fight one-on-one until we come to the final 10, said the Jonin. Kiba raised his hand. Are we not allowed to rest? Questioned the Sound Ninja. The Jonin shook his head. No, in a battle situation you would be unable to rest. Please proceed to stand with your Jonin-sensei on the stand. Before I begin, is there anyone who wishes to drop out, said the Jonin. Everyone shuffled, mumbling echoed across the hall. "I do, Proctor-san," said Kabuto. Naruto eyed him with a suspicious scowl. "Okay, Kabuto Yakashi, please leave the tower," said the Jonin. Sasuke glared at Sakura, who was telling him to get the seal checked out. Unbeknownst to him, Kakashi, Anko and the Hokage were eyeing him critically. "I say we ban him from the competition," said Anko with a growl. The old Hokage heaved a sigh. "It's not that easy, Anko," said the old Hokage. Kakashi nodded. "Sasuke isn't the type to take things lying down. He would go straight to the council, possibly revealing Naruto has the Sharingan," said Kakashi. Sarutobi dropped his pipe. Anko chalked slightly. What they both hissed in a whisper. "His Dujutsu has morphed into a fully matured Sharingan, and believe me when I say, according to Sakura, he wields it like one as well. He put Sasuke in a genjutsu with just a look," said Kakashi in a whisper. Sarutobi sighed. "I never imagined such a thing could happen so fast," said Sarutobi. Anko and Kakashi looked at him sharply. "You knew about this?" they both questioned. Sarutobi nodded and looked at Naruto, who was giving Sasuke a blank look. "Jiraiya-kun told me about it years ago. Mito-sama long before that." "Kakashi, go to your team," ordered Sarutobi. Kakashi frowned and disappeared in a blur of leaves. "Hokage-sama, why weren't any of us told?" asked Anko. Sarutobi sighed. "Because my dear Anko, your former sensei, and my rival would have snapped him up in an instant," said Sarutobi softly. Anko gave a brief nod. The pale Jonin gave a cough as the board began to flicker. "The first match is Sasuke Uchiha versus Kiba Inuzuka," said the Jonin. Kiba cheered slightly at going first. Sasuke gave a grunt and a malicious smirk. "Kiba, be careful," said Kurenai. Kiba just waved her off with a blasé hand wave. "He won't do much against me, Kurenai-sensei. I have trained hard," said Kiba. He jumped over the railings and landed lightly on his feet. Sasuke deliberately walked down the stairs slowly. Naruto was fuming inwardly, Sasuke claiming Naruto to give up his eyes as he was not worthy. Naruto was hoping Kiba would beat Sasuke, but knew it was unlikely. Round 1, Kiba vs Sasuke. "Are you both ready?" said the Jonin. Both gave a nod and the Jonin looked at everyone. "Killing is not permitted. I will step in when I feel the person has gone too far. Any outside help will result in disqualification," said the Jonin. Everyone nodded. He raised his arm and jumped backwards. Kiba flew at Sasuke with a vicious swipe of his clawed hand. Sasuke dodged the blows easily. Kiba, though, had been taught to never lose his patience, however small it was. He jumped, sending more swipes, his feet moving into the mix. Sasuke was smirking as he moved left to right, dodging the blows. He hadn't even needed to activate his Sharingan. He ducked beneath another wide throw and Sasuke thrust his fist beneath Kiba's chin. Kiba's teeth snapped together with a loud crack. His head jerked back painfully. He flew off of his feet. Sasuke followed swiftly. He moved around Kiba. Kiba still in mid-fall. Sasuke grabbed one of Kiba's arms and with a harsh elbow Sasuke thrust it into Kiba's throat. Kiba coughed out blood. Sasuke uncaringly spun and with a high foot slammed it into Kiba's ribs, forcing Kiba into the floor with a loud crack. Kiba coughed out blood. His breathing labored. "Won't do much against you, get real," said Sasuke. Kiba felt his vision blur. Sasuke's hits were solid. His ribs were cracked, that much he knew. He heard more than saw Kurenai dashing towards him. "Sasuke, you could have killed him," said Kurenai, her tone scolding. Sasuke glared at her. "Whatever," said Sasuke simply. Kurenai turned to see Kakashi giving Sasuke a glare. He looked at Kurenai and gave an eye smile. Kurenai nodded once. Naruto watched as Sasuke walked up and glared at him. "So where were we?" "Oh right. You and that Sharingan you stole," said Sasuke. Naruto growled in his chest, his face still composed. "I stole. I am deserving of it just as much as you are," said Naruto. Sasuke glared hotly. "Was your mother an Uchiha?" snarled Sasuke. Naruto sighed. "No, she was not." But before Naruto could finish, Sasuke had a hand around his throat, a kunai going for his eye. Naruto simply grabbed the wrist wielding the kunai and squeezed tightly. The creaking of Sasuke's bones was heard by everyone close. Whilst this was going on, another fight had taken place. It was Shino versus Saku of the Sound Team. Naruto watched the match out of his periphery, his Sharingan cataloging all information. The rest of his concentration was on Sasuke. "You don't deserve it," hissed Sasuke. Naruto frowned, his Sharingan spinning. Kakashi caught Sasuke as he fell forward limply. Sasuke glared at Naruto sleepily. "Calm down, Sasuke, nobody cares what you say," said Naruto calmly. Sasuke just felt himself being lowered to the floor. He couldn't feel his lower body. Naruto had cut off the feeling with a heavy genjutsu. Why does he have the Sharingan? Thought Sasuke with an evil snarl. Naruto clapped as Shino won the match by using his brain. Naruto watched each match as they were called out. Sakura and Ino agreed to draw. Due to the fact Sakura held back slightly, Ino was beaten up more than Sakura, but Ino had used her clan technique, making it impossible for Sakura to win. Naruto was intrigued with Tenten versus Temari of the Sand Village. Temari's wind chakra abilities were a marvel to watch with the Sharingan. She used sealess jutsu so he couldn't really copy it, not that he would without her consent, but watching how her chakra manipulated the wind around her. Naruto had to smile as Shikamaru begrudgingly won his match, once more brain over brawn, or in this case, genjutsu. Naruto knew out of most Junon, Sasuke and Shikamaru would give him the most trouble. Hinata had come to stand next to Naruto, a blush on her face as she took in his shirtless state. Naruto was also growing tired of Lee's moaning, which is why when Lee's name appeared on the board, Lee was happy, but Naruto grumbled under his breath as his name bleeped. Look after Daisuke, Hinata-chan, said Naruto. Hinata nodded and smiled as the small fox yipped and landed on her shoulder. Lee Rock versus Naruto Uzumaki, said the Jonin. Hinata whispered her good luck. Lee, remember, watch out for him, said Guy. Kakashi smirked at Guy. What's wrong, Guy? Don't trust your Junon, said Kakashi. Guy scowled at Kakashi. Don't get me wrong, Lee will win, but Naruto-kun there is pretty fast. I don't need to worry about the Sharingan. I have taught Lee how to battle such an opponent, said Guy. Kakashi couldn't help it. Pride and humor filled his body. How about a game, Guy, said Kakashi. Guy's eyes lightened. Tenten grumbled and Neji shook his head. Sure, my youthful rival. What is the game, said Guy. Kakashi closed his book with a dramatic slam. Oh, we will not be competing. Our students are our representatives. If Naruto-kun wins, you have to not wear your jumpsuit and bowl haircut for a whole month, said Kakashi. Guy shivered whilst everyone looked at Kakashi with hopeful eyes. Sarutobi overheard the conversation and smirked. And if Lee wins, you have to wear a jumpsuit, Kakashi, and matching leg warmers, said Guy, his eyes alight with the thought of a challenge. Kakashi inwardly shivered. Sure, best think of a different outfit, Guy, said Kakashi. Guy smirked slightly. I'm sorry, Kakashi, but I have trained Lee to be the best at taijutsu. None stand next to Lee, said Guy. Kakashi smirked. We will see, said Kakashi conspiratorially. Naruto looked at Lee with a calm countenance. Lee was smiling ear to ear. I was glad I had the opportunity to fight you, Naruto-kun. Your speed was quite a surprise when I fought Sasuke-kun, said Lee. Naruto simply stared at Lee. His arm over his abdomen moved, his hand sliding into his pocket. Ready? Go, said the Jonin. Everyone tensed as Naruto and Lee didn't move. Naruto stood with his hands in his pockets. Lee stood in his taijutsu pose. Are you going to come at me, Naruto, said Lee. Naruto simply blinked. He slipped a hand out of his pocket and watched as Lee's eyes followed the movement. A kunai was spinning delicately in Naruto's fingers. Naruto moved the kunai up and past his face. He smirked as Lee made eye contact. Sorry, Lee, but I cannot lose here, said Naruto. Lee realized his mistake too late. His heart thudded slightly, sound becoming muted. He tried not to panic as darkness began to creep in from invisible cracks in the wall. Guy-sensei created a seal. I need to tap my arm and it should work, thought Lee. He shakily moved his hand to his arm and with a harsh slap he hit his arm. Guy's chakra pulsed through his body briefly. He blinked and had to dodge immediately. Naruto's kunai an inch from his face. Lee flipped backwards a couple of times. He stood, his eyes remaining on Naruto's feet. The Sharingan is truly a frightening dojutsu, said Lee loudly. A few people gasped, whilst others looked at Naruto with a critical eye. The Sound Ninja Sensei eyed Naruto with something akin to horror and wonder. That seal on your arm is how you got out of the genjutsu, said Naruto simply. Lee nodded, not removing his eyes from Naruto's feet. Guy-sensei created it. I have underdeveloped chakra condition, so I can only use taijutsu, said Lee. Naruto sighed and rubbed a hand through his hair. That is unfortunate, said Naruto. Lee blinked in shock as Naruto blurred. Lee dodged backwards. Naruto sent out a palm strike, narrowly missing Lee. Lee twisted as Naruto simply blurred, and appeared the other side of Lee. He hit Lee with a shimmering palm. Lee winced as the concrete palm hit his side. He flew forward. He heard Naruto slap a palm onto the floor. Lee quickly adjusted his feet, stopping himself. But Naruto appeared, his foot slamming into Lee's face. Lee was rocketed backwards, his back slamming against the large pillar. Naruto brushed a hand through his hair. Please try harder, said Naruto coldly. Lee shakily stood, his eyes meeting Naruto's once again, but no genjutsu came. He watched as the Sharingan faded, leaving Naruto's regular silver eyes. Your Sharingan has faded, stated Lee. Naruto rolled his eyes. Nothing wrong with your eyesight, said Naruto simply. Lee nodded. He was about to move forward when he heard Guy's voice. Lee, take them off, said Guy. Everyone watched as Lee eagerly took off his leg weights. How primitive, said Naruto simply. He knew the limitations to leg weights, having considered them. Lee threw a leg weight at Naruto. Naruto simply struck out a palm, bending the metal around his hand. The sound echoed in the room. You have a very strong punch, said Lee. Naruto held up a hand similar to Lee. Lee watched as the hand shimmered blue. Punched a hole right through Zabuzama Mochi, said Naruto. Lee shivered slightly, his legs feeling lighter. He bounced on his feet. Here I come, Naruto-kun, said Lee. Naruto smirked and simply stood in his relaxed stance. Lee disappeared. Everyone blinked in shock. A loud boom echoed through the room. Lee was slammed into a wall once more. His other set of weights had a 4-fingered size hole punched into it. Sorry, Lee-kun. Try harder, said Naruto. Lee nodded, hearing no mocking tone in Naruto's voice, only support. Lee blurred once more. Everyone watched as Naruto simply leant forward. Lee's kick missing by a breath. Naruto twisted his head, still ducked as Lee did a high kick. Both were fighting elegantly. Neither was hitting, though Kakashi could see Naruto was doing so deliberately. Naruto is amazing, muttered Ino. Hinata nodded with a smile, something Neji caught, and smirked slightly. Lee will win, he is strong, said Tenten. Sakura smirked slightly. If he wins it will be because Naruto held back, said Sakura. Tenten smirked slightly. Sore loser, muttered Tenten. Sakura smirked slightly. More like Naruto hasn't used a single ninjutsu, said Sakura. Tenten immediately skilled her expression. What she says is true. Lee only has a chance whilst Naruto doesn't use a ninjutsu, but Lee is fast. Naruto wouldn't be able to do hand seals fast enough, thought Tenten. They watched as Lee slammed a fist against Naruto's cheek. Naruto flew backwards. He skidded on his back slightly before he rolled his body and stood back on his feet. Lee was smirking at Naruto. Don't get cocky, said Naruto, flinging out an arm elegantly. Blue katanas began revolving around Naruto. Lee looked at them with a scowl. He dashed forward, and as he went to kick, the blades all moved, pointing in his direction. Naruto held a palm out and the swords flew at Lee with deadly accuracy. Lee dodged. The searing pain hit his body as each blade shallowly cut into his body. Naruto's hands flashed through seals, and he blew out a large plume of blue fire. Lee, don't be hit by that, called out Guy. Lee landed on his feet and blurred quickly. Too slow, said Naruto. Lee watched as Naruto struck 2 palms against Lee's chest. Lee was rocketed backwards, world turning into a blur. Naruto appeared above Lee, and his boot slammed into Lee's stomach. Lee slammed into the floor with a crack. Lee found he couldn't stand. His body ached, his legs felt like lead. It was then he noticed the strange black seal on his stomach. Why don't you seal me, murmured Lee. Naruto nodded. You won't be getting up until I release the seal, said Naruto simply. Winner Naruto Uzumaki, said the Jonin. Naruto released the single ram seal and Lee stood shakily. I can still fight, Lee coughed. The Jonin shook his head. Naruto nodded to Lee and helped him back to the stand. Good fight, no doubt you will become the best, said Naruto, his tone kind. Lee smiled at Naruto. Thank you, Naruto-kun, said Lee. Naruto nodded and put Lee next to the crying Guy-sensei. Naruto, you truly are a warm-hearted shinobi, cried Guy. Naruto shook his head, heard the board beep, and he looked at the screen. His heart thumped unevenly. Hinata, Naruto whispered. Hinata looked at him with a frightened smile. I will be okay, said Hinata. Naruto nodded. He moved to the railings and watched as Neji flipped over the bars. Hinata walked to the center, her body rigid. Hinata Hyuga versus Neji Hyuga, said the Jonin. Naruto watched, his hands clenching the bar tightly. Hinata had told him about Neji's hate, how he would belittle her, and they sparred. Neji would not hold back. Why am I working like this? She is just a friend, a close friend indeed, but I didn't feel like this with Sakura, Naruto thought to himself. Sakura watched the usually hidden tension roll off Naruto. She will be fine, she whispered. Naruto looked at her sharply. She gasped inwardly. The compassion and fear in Naruto's eyes. She hadn't seen him this expressive since before the Jinan graduation. They missed the go. Daisuke was curled up on Sakura's shoulder. It couldn't handle the tension coming off of Naruto. Hinata and Neji were both attacking each other with precision. Naruto smiled proudly as Hinata got in a few hits that made Neji widen his eyes. They attacked with vigor. He heard Guy briefly explain the Hyuga fighting style. Hinata was confident. She was striking, remembering all of her training with Naruto. Hinata spun and gracefully struck at Neji twice. Using the momentum, she launched herself over him, her 2 fingers hitting their mark easily. Neji stumbled forward. Hinata landed lively on her feet, her arms resuming their stance. She struck at Neji, only for him to move out of the way, his palm striking her chest. The chakra output caused a small explosion of chakra to come out of her back. Sakura and Kakashi, Lee and Ino moved away from Naruto as a snarl developed in his mouth, his face stony calm. Kakashi clamped a warning hand on Naruto's shoulder. "You think you are strong, don't you, Hinata?" "When you are still nothing," said Neji hatefully. Hinata coughed out a bit of blood, her Byakugan fading. "And Neji-kun, I will beat you here," said Hinata. She fell into the Hyuga stance. "You just don't get it. You can have a genius train you, but that doesn't make you a genius. Naruto has his own fate. Yours is to be weak. Why fight to change something that cannot be changed?" said Neji. Hinata felt her eyes widen. Her eyes flicked to Naruto, who was glaring. His eyes were wild slightly. "What would you know, you insolent little whelp? Your little speech of fate. Your fate is to become scum, something I can scrape from beneath the bottom of my boot," growled Naruto. His tone was deeper. His accent was something akin to Hiyashi Hyuga, only richer. His tone ice cold. Many who knew Naruto's secret recognized the deeper timbre that echoed through his voice. "He even defends you, how pitiful. You must have sucked him into your little lies, Hinata." "How pitiful indeed," said Neji. He smirked at the low guttural growl. Naruto was trying to calm down his body. He didn't understand why he was reacting the way he was. Hinata and Neji fought once more. Naruto felt Kurenai and Anko place calming hands on his shoulder. "Let her fight, Naruto," said Kurenai. Naruto was just staring straight ahead. "I don't apostrophe T. Why am I reacting like this?" whispered Naruto. Anko smiled at Naruto sadly. Kurenai also smiled sadly. Ino was about to talk when a cough from Asuma and him shaking his head stopped. The fight grew one side. Hinata trying to keep up. Neji's attacks were growing more vicious. Naruto had clamped his hands on the bars, his hands shimmering, twisting the metal into impossible angles. Neji moved swiftly around Hinata's strikes, and slammed a palm on her chest once more. Hinata weakly coughed out a larger pool of blood. She fell to her knees. "Don't bother getting back up. If you do, I won't hesitate to kill you," said Neji. The Jonin was about to call the match when Hinata struggled up. "Why doesn't he call the match?" "He did for Lee," whispered Tenten. Guy shook his head. Naruto beat Lee with a seal. Lee wouldn't be able to move. "Hinata is still fighting on her own free will," said Guy. Neji shook his head. "So weak. You think you can win, but you will never be strong enough," said Neji. He dashed forward, his hands glowing with chakra. Neji briefly heard a snarl. He watched as Hinata fell to her knees. His strike would end her. Three things happened at once. He was pushed backwards slightly by the Jonin proctor. Guy's arms wrapped around his body. The other Jonin and Anko were holding back Naruto, who had his Tanto inches from Neji's face. Naruto's eyes were glaring hard, the Sharingan spinning wildly. "I will kill you," said Naruto with a deadly whisper. Neji shivered from the look. A hand quickly blocked his view of the Sharingan. Naruto calmed down. "You will be disqualified," said Anko. Naruto just snarled, the sound completely feral. The fox cub was snarling also, its tail glowing blue slightly. "And Naruto-kun," came a whispered cough behind them. The Jonin were all surprised to find Naruto had slunk out of their grasp in a blur. He was holding Hinata's hand and brushing some of her sweat-matted fringe away from her face. "Are you okay?" Hinata-chan asked Naruto softly. His face had returned to its calm state. Did I not do well?" whispered Hinata. Naruto felt a tear spring into his eyes. He couldn't understand all of these tumbling emotions, so close to the surface. They were slowly falling away, but nothing had actually made him feel in so long. "Why? Yeah, you did great. I am proud," said Naruto with a small smile, a tear running down his face. Thank you," she whispered before her eyes slid closed. Naruto's Sharingan picked up the shudder in her heart, and in a flash of yellow lightning he was gone. "What was that?" was whispered throughout all of the Shin'an. Kurenai blinked at the spot where Naruto was. That was," whispered Kurenai. Asuma put a hand on her shoulder. "I thought you saw it earlier?" asked Asuma. Kurenai blinked, remembering back when Naruto had came all the way back to the village for medicine. He had left in yellow lightning. "I never paid attention," said Kurenai. The Jonin proctor told everyone to move to their places. The matches needed to continue. As night fell, Naruto was sleeping in Hinata's hospital room. Daisuke was curled up in his lap. The window was closed. He had Hirashined in. Unbeknownst to Naruto, Sarutobi and Kakashi were making preparations with Naruto's new sensei. Naruto awoke to the sound of someone skiing in his ear. He opened his eyes, hearing Daisuke give a growl. Naruto's eyes lazily slid open, in which Kurenai, Kiba and Shino was each looking at him. The nurse was glaring at him, and the little fox in his lap. "In here without authorization, with an animal no less," growled the nurse. Naruto simply stood. His baggy t-shirt and shorts, and messy hair, made Kurenai give a smirk. Only Hinata could see him now. She would probably faint, thought Kurenai. Naruto simply stood and walked to the door. Sorry, how are you feeling, Kiba asked Naruto calmly. Kurenai sighed in relief. According to his teammates, that was the first time in the months they had been a team Naruto had ever broken his calm composure. It showed Kurenai how deeply he cared for Hinata, even if he didn't understand it yet. Pretty good, I have to drink this stuff to make my teeth grow faster, grumbled Kiba. Naruto smiled slightly. I am assuming it tastes horrible, said Naruto. He watched as Kiba turned green slightly. You have no idea, said Kiba. Naruto laughed. He looked at Shino and inclined his head. Good win, Shino, said Naruto. Shino inclined his head also. You too, Naruto. Very smartly played, said Shino. Naruto nodded, and with the fox curled on his shoulder he left the hospital room. As he was walking to the exit, he saw Kakashi striding purposely towards him. Naruto, you weren't at home, said Kakashi. Naruto noticed the slight blush on Kakashi's face. Anko round again, asked Naruto. Kakashi looked at Naruto sharply. Naruto raised his shoulders and dropped them lazily. Yeah, anyway, I can't train you for the month, started Kakashi, but Naruto gave a snort. Yeah, okay, but you have enough time to train Sasuke, right? And you can't say it's because he has the Sharingan because. But before Naruto could continue, Kakashi slammed a hand over his mouth. Kakashi moved his head to Naruto's ear. Don't say that too loud, Naruto, otherwise all of Hokage-sama's hard work will have gone to waste, said Kakashi cryptically. Naruto nodded understanding. He had to be careful. Many people, elders in the village and the civilian council, coveted the Sharingan, and if they found out their Jinchuriki had one, it would cause a riot. Okay, so yeah, you can't train me, but you can train Sasuke, go on, said Naruto. The fox looked up at Kakashi and simply cocked its head, before it moved to sleep on Naruto's shoulder again. But don't worry, I have found you another sensei, one stronger than even I. He has come here specially for you. Oh, he is 12 years too late, said Kakashi. Naruto remembered, reading some of his dad's book briefly, before he got too busy. Naruto gasped slightly for a totally different reason. Oh, I forgot to read the book, said Naruto. Kakashi frowned slightly. I thought you got who your sensei was. Don't make me give another clue, said Kakashi, his tone mock anger. No, is it my dad, sensei? Jiraiya of the Sennin, said Naruto quietly, realizing he was in a public place. Kakashi, I smiled, correct. But the next part is finding him, said Kakashi. Kakashi raised a hand to move through the hospital. Is a friend of yours in hospital, Kakashi-sensei, asked Naruto. Kakashi sighed. Sasuke, said Kakashi simply. Naruto realized, Kakashi didn't speak of Sasuke as fondly as he used to. Did he do something wrong, asked Naruto. Kakashi sighed. He tried to kill you, said Kakashi. Naruto raised an eyebrow. When, I think I would have remembered, said Naruto. Kakashi sighed. Well, he didn't get very far, but the fact you have, you know what, has deeply offended Sasuke for no reason, said Kakashi. Naruto nodded and put his hand up to Kakashi. See you in a month, sensei, said Naruto. Kakashi nodded and moved through the hospital. Naruto left the hospital and stepped out into the warm mid-morning sun. He raised his head to the sky and took a deep breath. Oh hey, Naruto, called Shikamaru. Naruto nodded. Hey Shikamaru. Choji, what? No Ino, said Naruto. Shikamaru sighed. No Ino kind of freaked out when Sasuke went all purple chakra and talking about killing you, said Shikamaru. Naruto frowned slightly. Kakashi didn't say that, said Naruto. Shikamaru sighed. It's because that creepy Gaara guy goaded him, said Shikamaru. Naruto nodded slightly. He looked at the pale face of Choji. How did you do, Choji, asked Naruto. Choji sighed. I failed, I was just well, that Gaara guy just crushed his opponent, no questions asked, said Choji. Naruto nodded. Doesn't surprise me, said Naruto. Shikamaru nodded. Naruto, my parents wondered if you wouldn't mind coming to see them later. For dinner perhaps, said Shikamaru. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Yeah, my parents want the same. It appears news of you travels fast, said Choji. Shikamaru sighed. Troublesome, you know why, right, said Shikamaru, looking at Naruto, who was looking into the clouds. Yeah, the old man has a plan. That, and being that after the finals everyone is going to know about my parents, said Naruto. Choji and Shikamaru looked at each other slightly and gave a brief nod. Well, whatever, we will see you later, Naruto. Don't worry about my parents. I will tell them you are really busy, said Shikamaru. Naruto calmly nodded his thanks. So you training, Naruto? Asked Choji. Naruto nodded and looked to the sky. Yeah, I just have to find my sensei, said Naruto. Shikamaru frowned. Kakashi just walked in the hospital, said Shikamaru. Naruto nodded and sighed. He isn't training me, Jiraiya of the Sennin, said Naruto. Shikamaru sighed and rubbed a hand through his hair. The thought of fighting you sounds even more troublesome, said Shikamaru. Naruto nodded. I am eager to see if we fight Shikamaru. It would be an interesting experience, said Naruto simply, his bow to Choji and Shikamaru before he crouched and touched his palm to the floor. He blurred and was gone. Naruto dashed from building to building, his eyes searching the crowd. He had stopped at the academy to ask Iruko what Jiraiya looked like. Naruto had a vague idea, but was unsure as to if he was following the correct track. Naruto ended up on top of a street light, his eyes looking down at the giggling white-haired man sat on a toad. He was peeking through a hole into the ladies section. Naruto rolled his eyes and dropped to the floor soundlessly. Ho ho ho, this is perfect for my book, said Jiraiya with a bit of drool hanging out of his mouth. If this is how you spent the past 12 years, I am pretty pissed, said Naruto. Jiraiya turned slowly, his eyes scanning Naruto. Go away, brat. I am busy, said Jiraiya. Naruto rolled his eyes. Jiraiya was shadowed. Naruto was sat crouched on the fence, looking directly into the female baths. A few women shrieked, but Naruto held up a placating hand. I am afraid to say, ladies, but you have been subjected to a dirty old man's leers for a while now. I decided to be a decent man and tell you, said Naruto coolly. The women followed the nod of his head, their eyes snapping to the hole in the fence, and the eye that disappeared rapidly. Thank you, young man, said one of the women. Naruto raised a hand and hopped off the fence. Jiraiya was glaring at Naruto, a slight pout on his face. How rude, muttered Jiraiya. Naruto raised an eyebrow. Rude. Rude is leaving your godchild to fend for himself. Rude is visiting the village and not coming to see how your godson was faring. If anyone here is rude, it's you, said Naruto coldly. Jiraiya had the grace to look guilty slightly. I did mean to. Jiraiya started, but was cut off with a simply TSK. Don't bother. Are you going to train me or what? If not, I will do it myself. I have been doing it for a while now, said Naruto, his tone blasé, but his eyes were accusing. Jiraiya winced slightly. Naruto simply walked past the silent man. Naruto, wait. Started Jiraiya. Naruto shook his head. The fact you can't say anything, it makes it hurt more, said Naruto in an uncaring and bored tone. He crouched down, and before Jiraiya could stop him, he disappeared in a blur. Jiraiya cursed and disappeared also, the toad exploding in a cloud of smoke. Naruto kept Jiraiya at a long distance. He moved swiftly through the village. He was heading to his training ground, his body moving swiftly. Unbeknownst to him, Jiraiya was watching every move like a hawk, studying and critiquing. Naruto landed in the training ground, his eyes morphing into the Sharingan. He dodged 3 kunai, his body flipping instantly, Shuriken lodging into the floor. I could have hit you so many times then. Your Sharingan may help, but to things you can't see it's pretty useless, said Jiraiya. Naruto scowled. Jiraiya landed on the ground with his arms crossed. So what? Stalk me until I talk, said Naruto. Jiraiya smirked. It worked, said Jiraiya simply. Naruto nodded. It did, he answered. The silence that followed was deafening. Jiraiya simply stood with his arms crossed. Your speed dash is good but flawed. Having to touch the ground means you are vulnerable. Your little taijutsu attack is also flawed. I know a way to help maximize that, so you don't need to ever crouch to speed dash or focus fire into your limbs, said Jiraiya. Naruto nodded seriously to himself. If you are going to train me, I have somewhere we can go, said Naruto. Jiraiya already had an idea. It's up to you, said Jiraiya. Naruto pulled a scroll out of thin air. He opened it and pointed at the blank space. Jiraiya, getting the idea, pricked his finger with a kunai. Let's train for the month. I can get a lot done in months, said Naruto simply. Jiraiya nodded, a smirk on his face. Sasuke walked through the dark district that once housed the proud Uchiha. He was silently fuming. Naruto was being trained by someone who wanted him specifically. The thought of Naruto made Sasuke's throat burn in anger. He walked through the main hall of the Uchiha family shrine, and his senses went into alert, but before he could move, he fell to the floor clutching his shoulder. Kokokiku, Sasuke-kun? How about I train you as well, said a menacing whisper in the air. Sasuke looked up into the snake-like eyes of Orochimaru. Sasuke shakily tried to stand. Yes, give me enough power to rip those Sharingan from Naruto's eyes. Then I will kill Itachi, said Sasuke, a dark smile sliding onto his face. Kokokiku, of course my little pet, of course, said Orochimaru, his eyes glinting. Let's see, Jiraiya-kun, whose Sharingan is better, thought Orochimaru. Time skipped 2 weeks. Naruto flipped backwards, a fist flying beneath him. He landed gracefully. The scabbard of his tanto was held in his left hand. His right hand flew to the hilt and he quickly deflected the kunai stab, his arm moving in a swift arc outwards, and returning to the scabbard in a fluid motion. Jiraiya, unperturbed, simply charged forward. He dodged the quick slashes from Naruto. his body simply gliding. "You're getting good with the sword style, Naruto," said Jiraiya. Naruto nodded as he continued his assault. "Thanks, Jiraiya-sensei," said Naruto. He slashed outwards and in quick succession, slashed multiple times. He kicked his foot out and slid the tanto home at the same time. Jiraiya skidded backwards, the kunai shattering in his hand. "Very good," said Jiraiya. He dashed forward, Naruto ducked backwards. In the same motion he twisted his body around and ducked facing forward. He spun backwards, unsheathing his tanto. He slashed once horizontally, hitting Jiraiya's kunai on the tip. Jiraiya's arm flew upwards slightly. Naruto spun the tanto in his hand, and with a reverse grip he dashed forward. He spun and sent out a kick. Jiraiya caught the kick. Naruto spun and slashed at Jiraiya. Jiraiya simply caught the wrist holding the tanto. "Your aggression in fighting is top marks indeed," said Jiraiya softly. Naruto smirked and Jiraiya turned as a clone of Naruto slashed at his back. The clone was expelled by a clone of Jiraiya. "Cheater," Naruto huffed. Jiraiya gave a smirk. "Clones, I can do them too," said Jiraiya. Naruto nodded and while still being held up by Jiraiya, he simply kicked Jiraiya with his other foot. Jiraiya stumbled backwards. Naruto landed on all fours before he jumped onto his 2 feet. "So what now?" asked Naruto. One thing he didn't like about Jiraiya's training methods was the erratic process. One day he would work on taijutsu, and he would suddenly move to tactics. Jiraiya shrugged. "Dunno, carrying on with taijutsu," said Jiraiya. Naruto sighed and rubbed a hand through his hair. "Jiraiya-sensei, we have been here for 2 weeks, and I haven't learnt a single jutsu," said Naruto. Jiraiya shook his head, crossing his arms. "That's not the point, Naruto-kun. There are 2 ways to train. One is much like my old teammate Orochimaru, in which he learns as many ninjutsu as he can, as he believes a ninja without ninjutsu is not a ninja at all. Or there is the more in-depth training. Your father did it." "I did it," said Jiraiya. Naruto frowned slightly. "And what style of training is that?" questioned Naruto. Jiraiya smiled slightly. "It's mastering all you have learned at the moment, and once it is all refined, learn more. So as it stands, you are limiting what you can learn," said Jiraiya. Naruto scowled. "You said at the beginning of training that I wasn't allowed to use shadow clones," said Naruto. Jiraiya nodded seriously. "Exactly, because you need to do it yourself. Refinement only comes from you," said Jiraiya. Naruto nodded and dropped into his fighting style. "Then let's go," said Naruto. Jiraiya nodded with a small smile, and he dashed forward. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.